Now, since we tied the knot off and it's on the right side, I always turn the tail to the left side and pull it up, okay? And then I pull it up until I can see the knot right there. And then I grab that tail and give it a little pinch, okay? Pull it up, turn it sideways. Now what that does is it puts a crease at the top and stretches that knot at the same time. It tightens that knot and puts a crease right in the top. Okay. You put your finger there and you slide that knot up to it so you don't just yank the whole braid through the top. Sweetie Pie, could you please leave Mr. Horse alone, Sweetie Pie? You can stand and watch, but please don't touch him because he's moving his head around. Okay. If you don't do that step where you pull it back down, you may end up with it looking like this later on. Okay? And you don't want it to look like that because you didn't put the crease in it. That's called a palm tree. That's a no-no. You put the knot and then you pull it down. Put it in, pull it down. Slide to the side. Pull it and crease it. Now, I do not usually go through and do all of this first. I used to. But I just do one at a time. But it's good for you guys too so that you can line it up a little bit. Okay? Begin to line those braids up, slide the bottoms, just like this, a little tiny bit. And you can see it all lines up. And all this hair that you see, we're going to catch it and tie it up. I told you this is going to take a while. Especially at the bottom, you want to put that crease in there, especially at the bottom, because with the spacing, the braid spacing out, it's easier to not get the tail set in there correctly and have it come through. So you'll give a little squeeze at the bottom and then grab that tail and pull it tight. Turn it to the side. Grab it, pull it tight. To the side, grab it, pull it tight. To the side, grab it, pull it tight. Okay. You go back and you make sure everything's laying flat and straight for you. Okay? Alright. Here's where it really makes a difference. So I'm going to step below you. You can see right over the top. Take the yarn. What's the leg? No twist. Form a triangle, use your pointer to go right underneath and slide it up. See how I push that tail out of the way with my pointer finger? I'll pat the top to make sure that knot does not come through. Right over the top once, twice. You set the yarn right into that crease and you just snug it down. Okay? Figure 8. Once, twice. Slide that underneath the braid. And that ties that tail right to the braid. Once, twice, snug it up and make sure that you are over the top of that tail and you pull it into the knot and tie that tail to the back of the braid. We're going to do that a whole bunch, so don't worry if you missed it, okay? Make your triangle. Go underneath, pull your right side up first, then your left side. Snug that down because that's where you can get a bunch of slack. And if you get slack when you're doing this, your braid can twist. Once, twice, set it right in the crease, right there. Same spot every time. Oops, that was too low. That one right there. And snug it. Figure 8. It's just over the top. Oops. It's just a twist over the top. Okay? Once, twice, you slide it under, catch that tail on the side, once, twice, under, once, twice, tie it. Form your triangle. Go underneath the tail, once, flick that down, make sure the knot's right at the top. Once, twice, Put it right on your crease and snug it right down to the neck. You're not pulling tight, you're just pulling evenly so there's no slack. Once, twice. It goes underneath and we tie it. Once, ow, twice. Tighten it. Yeah, we're taping. Twice, and we'll tie it. Okay? Form your triangle. Underneath, slide it through. Always flick your yarn to make sure you're not straight at the top. Once, twice, right into that crease, and snug it down. Once, twice, underneath. Snug it. Tie the tail to the side. Now you're barely seeing any hair as it is at the top here because we used most of it in the braid. But here, where it's lower, you'll see way more hair disappearing. Okay? Form your triangle. Go straight underneath. Flick that down. Once, twice. Set it right in the crease of the yarn, of the braid. Twist, make your figure 8 over the top. Once, twice. Underneath, snug it shut. I use my pinky to catch that yarn so that my hands can move fast. Because the faster you do this, the more money you make per hour. Oops. See how I didn't do that correctly and I bunched that tail? You don't want to do that. You do not want to bunch that tail when you go under there. Okay? All the way completely under. Make sure that top's not coming out. Once, twice. See how I'm kind of guiding that yarn down with my pointer finger on my left hand, my index finger? Once, twice. You use your index finger a lot and you have to get really close to your work with it. Okay. Form your triangle. Go under. Once, twice. And I'll set my yarn right there and snug it down. Over the top, once, twice. Underneath. Snap it shut. See how I grabbed that with my pinky? Once, twice. You can use all of your fingers and help get the whole job done faster. Okay, triangle underneath. Every single time I do exactly the same thing. Tie it off in exactly the same place with exactly the same pressure. See how I'm catching those tails and all that hair is cleaned up? You just have to lay it over the top. You'll see on these ones better. Crisscross underneath. Use your pointer finger to make sure you don't catch that hair and bunch that up underneath. Because if you bunch it underneath, that's what's just going to pop out. See, there's a bit of hair there. I'll make sure that knot's kind of to the side, and I'll just snatch it right up.